Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video and actually the start of another brand new series on the channel. This time around we're going to be finally using some of the classic cars. Now this has been something that has been requested by a whole lot of you guys, as well as the fact that for those of you that have been around this channel for quite a while, you will know how much of a classic car fan I am on the F1 2017 and 2018 games. So for this series we're going to be using the classic Hotlap series from the F1 2018 Championship mode. Qualifying is what counts here, with big points on offer for high finishes. It's then a reverse grid race to fight for the scraps. So we've got 5 rounds: Italy, Spain, Hungary, Mexico, and I think Canada was the final one. And for this series we are going to be using the C1 class of cars. Now the C1 cars sort of fit into, I'm going to say, 4 groups on the whole. Now in Group 1, as such, it is going to be the Red Bull RB6 and the Braun GP BGP 001. Now these two obviously really high downforce V8 engines, no traction control, fully slick tyres on the whole, completely smooth as well, which is obviously really ideal for them. They'll be really quick around tracks like Hungary and Spain, but around Monza, the opening round of this season, these two cars will probably really struggle. The same can then be said for pretty much what I'm going to call the outlier from this series, the 2008 McLaren MP4-23. No traction control, again a V8 engine, but also grooved tyres. Generally speaking, I think this car will probably be the weakest on the grid. Then we move into the Renault R26 and the 2007 Ferrari. Traction control once again, V8 engines once more, but grooved tyres as well. They're quite weird to drive in my personal opinion, but they sort of fit into Group 3. And then finally, in Group 4, probably in my opinion the best cars in this class, the 2002 and 2004 Ferrari and the 2003 Williams. V10 engines, traction control and groove tyres. These cars will be the quickest ones on the grid. And for this series we are going to be using that Williams FW25. In terms of settings, as you can tell, as always, we're running the standard settings from all my other series. 110 AI, absolutely no assist whatsoever. But to change it up just a little bit, we're going to be running with Cockpit Cam for this series. Now, I sort of hinted at a bit of a series with Cockpit Cam over the last, and obviously with yesterday's video at the Italian Grand Prix, that last to first driving a Sebastian Vettel. I did that race in Cockpit Cam, and although I do actually already recorded the first couple of rounds of this series, and I really wanted to do this in Cockpit Cam as well. The aim for this series is to actually upload it daily between now and Friday this week. 5 rounds, 5 days, and obviously there will be double uploads obviously on the side of Career Mode, or sort of a random other video on the channel. But yeah, the point system for this series is a little bit weird. Obviously, it's definitely an interesting dynamic on the whole, and I'm really looking forward to doing this. If I enjoy this series and you guys enjoy this series as well, I could do it in the C2 and then also C3 class of cars as well further on down the line. But yeah, as I said, the points work in this series quite strange. You get 20 for pole, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, and then it runs 9, 8 all the way through to 0 for the... So the top 15 do score points from qualifying, and then the race is actually the old point system, so 10, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. Or sorry, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 even. So there are plenty of chances for points. I would have thought every single driver will score points in this series, as well as I'm going to leave all the races in. So sometimes, I get a few questions about whether I actually use rewinds or not, especially in streams and things. This is sort of proof of that. Now, I'm not obviously going to upload a full 50% career mode race in full, but this series, yeah, I'm going to leave it fully unedited on the whole. But in the background, then, we've just got my first qualifying lap of this series. You can see, coming through the first couple of corners, I actually lose quite a bit of time to the 2004 Ferraris there. But just listen to this V10. Absolutely fantastic. See, approaching 220 miles an hour as we came up towards the second chicane there, which is just absolutely insane. I think in the race I can do nearly 230 miles an hour in this Williams car, which is absolutely phenomenal on the whole. But so far this lap has been okay. It's going to be difficult to match that 2004 Ferrari on one lap pace. That thing is just stupidly fast on the whole. It really does put into perspective how quick the 2017/2018 spec cars really are. And obviously that Ferrari is quick in a very different way, of just pure power in pretty much everywhere in the rev range. Make a little bit of a mistake as we come through Ascari though, but yeah, as I said, so far this lap has been quite decent on the whole. We're still currently in P3. Unfortunately, well, Gran Turismo decides it is updating in the background as well. That's sort of a little side thing I like to mention. This is actually a series recorded on PlayStation 4. Yeah, I wanted to obviously... I've got F1 2018 on PlayStation 4, so really wanted to utilise that. But yeah, the Ferraris would come through for a 1-2 in qualifying there, but I will certainly take P3 in the opening round of this series there. Considering I was a little bit sceptical about how well this Williams would cope, you can see 2 F2004s, then us in the the FW25, 2002 Ferrari, 2003 Williams once again there, another 2002 Ferrari, so quite close between us and the 2002 Ferraris there. The 2 Brauns, 2 Red Bulls, 2 McLarens, and then the Ferrari, as well as a few sort of McLarens and, you know, sort of mix and match of Renaults even, towards the rear of the field there. So yeah, the V10's obviously absolutely dominant in qualifying. There are no real surprises about that, but now we will have to fight our way through the order in this race, which will obviously make it really, really interesting here. The one Red Bull, actually quite surprisingly, way down at the rear of the field there. Must have had a bit of a mistake in qualifying to be, well, 1.5 seconds off the other Red Bull cars there. But yeah, that was certainly quite an interesting qualifying session on the whole, and this is where obviously it gets very, very exciting as we move into the race. It's going to be, well, near enough last, seeing how high we can climb once more.
Good day and welcome to what should be another fantastic championship season. We're 12 miles northeast of Milan for today's Grand Prix at a Monza circuit where we can expect top speeds of around 215 miles per hour. 11 corners on this 3.6-mile track, with 7 of those coming in the form of chicanes. And with a good slipstream and DRS open, there should be plenty of opportunity for some passing here today.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
So here we are then on the grid, ready for the very first race of this F1 2018 Classic Hot Lap Series. You can see as well, we're actually going to have the third-person cam in the corner of the screen as well. But it is 5 lights here in Italy, and it's lights out, and away we go, and off to a very, very wheel-spinny start there. That has not been a good start whatsoever. We've been tagged by one of the F2004s, and well, we haven't even crossed the start line yet, and we're already facing the wrong direction there. That was certainly not the start I wanted to this Grand Prix. But the brilliant thing with these V10s, it is not over just yet. You know, this race, as you're about to see, it's going to still be very, very exciting on the whole. They make a little mistake as we actually come through the first chicane. But yeah, not the start I ideally wanted. You know, unfortunately, we're now down at the rear of the field. But it does mean, you know, there's going to be no chance we're going to lose front wing on other cars as we come through the first couple of chicanes. So obviously, everyone... Constantine is up. You know, the aim though is to try and get back up to all the other V10 cars before they can really start to make their march through all the V8s, because, well, as you're going to see, the V10s, the V8s have no chance going down the straights, and this is sort of one of the other really interesting dynamics of this series, which, you know, really, this is one of the other things that I'm a big fan of in these championship modes in the classic cars. The racing is just nothing like you'll get anywhere else on F1 2018. It honestly... The closest way to describe it is like watching World Endurance, where you see like a hybrid Toyota romp past, you know, sort of a GT3 car. Obviously, with that hybrid technology and everything. 2 extra cylinders, obviously, in these cars really does make the difference. You can see actually quite a few cars very, very tightly bunched as we come through Parabolica to the end of lap 1. And we are now all over the back of the rest of the field once more. Here we got my teammate, well, teammate as such. There was no sort of teammate championship in this. The other FW25 here on the run towards Taiwan, 225 miles an hour. They're all going to go defensive. We get squeezed out wide on the grass. The Honda Rage does come up there, but we do somehow keep it pointing in the right direction. They're a double overtake. We're going to try and get the run around the outside of, I think that's an F2002 Ferrari. He tries to squeeze me out wide, but we do make that move work, and now we're up into P17 of this Grand Prix as we break now down in towards the second chicane. Next up on the old hit list will actually be one of the RB6s, one of the Red Bull cars there. He's going to try and look up the inside of one of the Ferraris. That Red Bull actually really, really phenomenal through sort of up to about 130 miles an hour. It's really, really good on acceleration. But then after that, well, the V10 just absolutely kicks in there. See, he does get quite a good run on the exit of the corner, but just look at the overdrive to get around his outside now, up into P16. There's another, I think that's a Braun car, going very, very slowly, understandably, as we break now down in towards Ascari here. Yellow flags right, they then go away once more. There is, we've got the Brawn, does swing it right around the outside of another F2002, and we're going to fly past the barrier from there, up into P14 of this Grand Prix here as we now come towards the end of just lap 2 of this race. And this is just how sort of entertainment-fueled these races really are. You know, it is absolutely phenomenal on the whole, as I said. There is nothing quite like it here. Italy obviously does promote these sorts of racing as well in these cars. We come now down towards Towan, all over the rail of another Brawn. He's going to try and go defensive. We're actually just going to run into the back of one of the other Red Bull cars there. Unfortunately, lose a bit of my front wing, as we've actually got, I think that's a Renault going slowly on the exit of the corner there. But coming out of the corner, well, just that straight line speed around the outside of 2 of the V8s. We go there up the inside of a Ferrari and a Renault car there. We do bail out, sorry, nice and early through there, and we will unfortunately only make the double overtake there, but now we're all over the back of one of the 2007 Ferrari cars here as we come through the first of the Lesmos here. Are we going to be able to get a good run on the exit? We think about going for a move up the inside through the second part there, but think, well, there's no point when you just look at this straight line speed. There is absolutely no point in trying to go for risky lunges like that. They're down the inside of the Ferrari. We're not going to be able to try and hold it right up the inside of him. He does swing it right around the outside there. Quite a ballsy defensive move from the 2007 Ferrari, considering the groove tyres on that car. But then straight back past him we go. Now up into P11 of this race. As I said, the top 8 will score points. And next up on the old hit list will be 2 of the Renault cars as we come out through the final corner here of Parabolica. Are we going to get close enough? Of course we're going to be closing up so much down this long front straight here. The Renaults are actually going to try and look past another car. No, they're not. It's just those two fighting, but straight up the inside of the pair of them there. Get the car slowed down towards the turn 1 apex, and now up into P9. We now just need to make one more overtake, and we will be up into the points here in this Italian Grand Prix. Next up is one of the McLaren cars here. Obviously, no traction control on that car. No traction and groove tyres was certainly a very difficult combo for the F1 drivers in 2008. You can see why there were so many spins by those drivers then, and well, hopefully we're going to be able to capitalise on that over, I think it's Michalski in that car. Unfortunately, you know, they still don't have the official names for the Formula 1 drivers there. But through the second of the Lesmos here on lap 4 of this Grand Prix, just 1 lap to go after this one. You can just see already how big a gap we've got to the cars behind, but we're not focusing on that, we're focusing on the cars in front. We get so close towards the end of this long back straight there, but unfortunately not going to be able to make any move just yet through the exit of Ascari. They use all the curbs and a bit of the runoff there. Accidentally click the wrong button, but go back into Cockpit Cam and just look once again at the overdrive. Are we going to be able to send it up the inside? What we've got to remember is obviously where we've got so much more speed, the AI are able to brake so much earlier there. The McLaren actually going for the switchback move, but then just nothing on the exit there. We set fastest lap of the Grand Prix at 1 minute 21.6, which in race trim, that's fairly quick on the whole, I'd like to think. Now into the final lap of this Grand Prix. We've actually got, I think that's Forrest and Moreno just in front of Lawrenson here. I think that's actually one of the other V10 Ferraris as we come through the first couple of corners here. So he's really been able to carve his way through the order so far here. But coming through this long back straight here, he's going to try and look around the outside of one of the McLaren cars. Is he going to be able to make it work there? Go for what Lewis did on Sebastian at the weekend. Weird, obviously, that it's a Ferrari doing it to McLaren instead. No, yes, he is. He's going to make the double overtake work as we come through the first of the Lesmos here. Going to brake nice and early, but one of the McLarens completely punts me in the rear end there. And well, unfortunately for me, that is us out into the gravel truck there. Unfortunate not to get any front wing damage from that. Come out back onto the track though, and unfortunately, we're going to drop right the way back down to P18 in this Grand Prix. The last 2 drivers actually had to make a pit stop by this stage of the race there, but that was really unfortunate for ourselves. That McLaren just, well, went straight into the rear end of me there, just engaged punt to pass well and truly there, and that was not the way I had wanted that race to go in the end there. Aaron Barnes will take the race victory, I think, in one of the Brawn cars, if I'm not mistaken, but it's not just over just yet through the final corner. Are we going to be able to get close enough to one of the Red Bulls there? Their corner exit speed is absolutely phenomenal, and unfortunately not. It's only going to be P18 there. We actually finished where we started. And, well, yeah, that's definitely left me a little bit out of breath there at the end of that race, as I think you guys can probably tell. And I think that's probably a good introduction into this classic Hotlap series on the whole. What a phenomenal race that was. And yeah, all the other races, I can tell you now, are pretty much just that carnage fueled and exciting. You know, there is not, you know, sort of a non-action packed minute in these races. As I said, you know, hopefully you guys sort of enjoyed that third person cam as well on the side. I'm going to try and incorporate that from this series. Obviously, with only 5 lap races, it is so much easier to do. You know, I never want to sit around for 50 minutes on the replay cam on F1 2018, you know, for a normal career mode race. So for this, you know, it was something a little bit different that I really, really wanted to add on the whole. But yeah, Aaron Barnes in the Brawn would take the race victory ahead of 2 of the F2007 Ferraris, ahead of Daniel Jones in the Red Bull. Marie Lawrenson in the 2002 Ferrari, ahead of 3 of the McLaren MP4-23s. My teammate, as such, comes through for P9, and Esto Sari in the Renault will come through for P10. Obviously, only the top 8 will score points there, with the 2007 Ferrari, 2002 Ferrari, and then 2 Brawns, 13th and 14th there. In terms, though, of the drivers' standings, obviously, hopefully we'll get a little bit of a look at how, with a very sort of weird point system, how everything does shape up from that first race. Obviously, we scored the points where it really does matter in qualifying here in the opening round of this series. So obviously, hopefully that should mean that, you know, we are still fairly high up in the order overall. You can see at the end, though, of that first race, well, it's the Ferrari 2004 leading on 20 points, 2 tied for P2. They're one of the 2002s and 2004 Ferraris on 18. We're on 16. My teammate is on 12 there, with a Brawn on 11 and another 2002 Ferrari on 10. So obviously that Brawn actually, you know, gets the, well, a couple of the Brawns actually getting up within the V10s there. So, you know, really able to, you know, stand a chance, obviously, with how many points are scored in the races there. Ferrari is P9 there with another Brawn in rounding out the top 10 there, with Red Bull 2007, 2008, 2008, double Red Bull, another 2008 and 2007 Ferrari, and the 2 Renaults are the only 2 cars not to score after the opening round of that series. But there we are then, guys. That has been the end of episode 1. Make sure you do like and subscribe if you're new around here and you do want to see more of this classic series. As I said, you know, I'm going to try and get these out once a day between now and Friday, and then maybe further on down the line we will do another one in the C2 and C3 cars. But I will see you guys next time for the Spanish Grand Prix.